this Connor Stallions situation at Michigan. Did you guys see Connor Stallions on Barstool talking about sign stealing at Michigan?
21, we lose to Michigan State. Kenneth Walker had a great game.
Played fantastic.
Yep. And we needed some help. Right. They had to lose twice. And we had to win out. Who had to
lose twice again?
Michigan State had to lose twice. And then that would have resulted in having a three-way tie. Or no, we would have beaten Ohio State, and then it would have just been us and Ohio State, because then Michigan State would not have been in that three-way tie.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost to Purdue. And then I think it was the next week they played Ohio State, the week before we played Ohio State. And so we needed Ohio State to win. So I gave Michigan State signals to a buddy of mine and said, hey, I changed all the logos. I made it look like it came from a different school. I don't want to give Ohio State something from Michigan, right? They might not use it. Who knows? But
right.
We need Ohio State to win. And I know they steal the crap out of defensive signals. So here you go. So I gave it to a buddy who may have given it to a buddy who then gave it to Ohio State and said,
classic game of telephone.
Yep. I got this from so-and-so at, name your school university.
Mm-hmm.
And, so they got, I'm sure they probably already had them, but it just confirmed everything. But yeah.
I'm telling you now, Connor Stallions doesn't deny what he did. The thing that's amazing is a Michigan guy through and through gave signs to a friend of his to give to Ohio State so that Ohio State would beat Michigan State, which they did. It's crazy, the stories he told on the Barstool podcast, and I encourage you to go watch the whole thing. It's remarkable. He confirmed a lot of what we talked about on the show, that, for instance, the predominant sign stealing is not offensive signals, it's defensive signals. That Ohio State was very easy to steal signs from because they had the same signal. They had 8 guys putting in signals. The hot guy was the same guy all season long. He doesn't even try to hide it anymore. He's like, the first thing that they asked me to do at Michigan was to draw them wind patterns for punting and kicking at every stadium we were going to play in. They wanted a sheet that said, okay, we're going to the shoe. Here's Connor Stallions gave them a book of every kick, where it landed, how the wind impacted it at every stadium they were going to play in for the rest of the year. Where the wind was blowing on that kick, how it impacted the ball, and where the ball landed. For every kick in that stadium for the entire season. That's the kind of guy we're talking about. And I always tell you, hate in sports is okay. Hate in real life, not okay. Hate in sports, completely fine. You can hate Connor Stallions for what he did. You cannot deny that the guy is brilliant. The guy is brilliant. Listening, we were just talking about it with quarterbacks. You listen to Connor Stallions talk, he understands what his job is. He's an analyst. And the guy was really good at stealing signs. And he said, nobody knew who I was when I first got to Michigan. And he gave him the weather stuff. And then he started diagnosing signals. But nobody knew who he was. So he was standing on the sideline, and the only guy that knew who he was the offensive coordinator who was up in the box. He's standing on the sideline near the players and coaches, and the other team is signaling in. And let's say they send the signals in, and Stallions would yell, power run left side, power run B gap. And he's standing on the sideline yelling this. And the player's like, who does this guy, man? And then sure enough, what would happen? Power run right side, power run left side. That's how he became prominent at Michigan. Not because they said to him, go steal signs. He sold them on the idea that he could, and they empowered him to do so. And so everything that we now know that happened began with Connor Stallions writing a weather report and how wind was impacting punts at Michigan. It's fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to me the level of espionage. And I agree with what everybody has said. Everybody is stealing signs. It's because it's not difficult to do. It's the level of depth and precision that Connor Stallions did it at. And he was only able to do that by getting multiple angles and sending people and developing. And he talks about it. It's about patterns. It's about, consistent movement. He has a whole chart that he uses. And they showed it a couple times. What does it mean if your hand is like this versus like this? Versus like this versus like this? He has all that stuff on paper in visuals. And you see him in the videos we've played on the show, on the sideline, breaking these signals down, writing, taking notes. And it almost looked like at times he was drawing on his paper. And now you know why. Because he's noting which way the hand is turned. He's noting how the fingers are positioned. Because signs are that precision. Signs are that precise. And you know what else I thought was fascinating? He talked about how other teams have been using Bluetooth devices to communicate to their quarterback. Not this year, for previous years. He claims it wasn't in the Big Ten. But he's like, oh, yeah, I know teams that are using Bluetooth devices. Because now you have in-helmet speakers that were supposed to eliminate signaling. But I think we even talked about this on the show. It didn't eliminate signaling. Did you guys notice most teams are still hand signing? Because what are they using the speaker for? Hey, they're coming at you through the right side. Hey, it's a blitz off the corner with a twist through the A gap. It's not like, okay, red, right, rocket, banana, Johnny's jockstrap on 3, break.
Right.
Because that play's being signaled into them. You want to know how hard it is to be a quarterback? You're watching the signals come in while a guy is talking to you in your ear saying, hey, they're bringing that corner blitz. Hey, they're in cover 2 shell, but they're disguising that cover 2 shell by showing. While you're looking at somebody signaling in plays, you're taking in 2 streams at once. And most of the best guys are executing at a very high level.
Yeah. Yep. Because they're comfortable with it.
And the fascinating thing is, we've all known this already. Coaches were never going to use the helmet speaker just to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
Jake Retzloff talked about that.
Yeah, I think that there's a balance. We saw it with Justin Fields and the Bears, all that drama about, hey, they're in my helmet too much or whatever. Like that's been an age-old thing in the NFL. And I think, I'm not going to sit here, not saying you're celebrating Connor Stallions, but I'm not going to sit here and get excited about what this dude did. This dude wrecked the game of football last year and cheated his way to a national championship. And I'm not here for it. And
I am not saying that what Connor Stallions did is right. What I'm telling you is he was really good at his job. And they accidentally found him because he kept beating on their door saying, I want to work here. I want to be here. I want to work here. I want to be here.
Yeah.
And he just beat on their door until they let him in. And then they said, okay, we're going to hire you. Write me a weather report. And he didn't write a weather report. Like it was, I have a lot of admiration for his work ethic and his detail. The cheating part and scamming your way to a national championship, that's what Michigan did. And they're going to pay a heavy price for it. They already are.
Yeah, I guess I don't disagree with any of that. My biggest issue is kind of what you're saying there, like the character portion of it. Like, yeah, great. You're good at what you do. You can create a weather report. You can steal signs. You can you're good at. Okay, cool. That's not unique to you. There are hundreds of guys who are doing this at an elite level, and they're doing it legally. They're doing it professionally. They're doing it with a high level of character, and they're doing it honestly. So for me, I struggle. I agree. What he said and talked about on that podcast is fascinating. I agree with that. Like it brings you behind the scenes. Like you can begin to understand like what he goes through in his process. Right. Like, okay, that part of it is fascinating, but I still struggle with giving the guy credit.
What, really? What Diddy did wasn't right, but he was really good at his job, guy. And then you go to anonymity. Like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Mike Smith. But guys, head coach Khakis gave the "we don't steal, we don't cheat, and we don't lie" speech.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
Come on, bro.
Come on. Ron Nolan. Good morning. The 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. Truth. Ferris, what did you say? Because Ferris Khan already has gotten filtered by YouTube. You said something that YouTube didn't like. This is not hard. OSU linemen had slightly different stances. Yeah, they tipped their pitches at Ohio State. They were using the offensive linemen. Basically, their posture was giving away what play was coming or what type of run was coming. Is what I think most people know now. Sam Webb had a whole show on this last year with his experts. Yeah, it's fine. Mike Smith. Gundy uses Bluetooth tech to tell Bowman that they are using cover one defenses.
Well,
I believe
but
that's
Bowman's
true.
never seen a cover one defense. So I mean,
believe that's true.
That's the problem.
That's true. Max Croxall. Let's go Cougars. Okay. Eric in Raleigh. Connor Stallions was just borrowing the play signals. He was just borrowing them.
Yeah, sure. He didn't do anything wrong, nothing nefarious. You know, the guy is a wizard. Like,
and again, I'm not trying to make Connor Stallions out to be a hero.
No, and I don't think you are, but I think
just
a lot of people are.
I just think it's remarkable what a guy that's highly motivated with analytical skills. I used to work around a guy named John Hadley in St. Louis. You want a stat package? Call John Hadley. Because there are just certain guys who have a mind for numbers. And you look at the way guys like that work. Connor Stallions can't just write you a weather report. 65 and sunny, winds out of the southeast. He's not capable of that. He has got that mind to write you a notebook of every kick in every wind condition in the stadiums you're playing in and how the wind and the weather affected the punter and the kicker for every kick in every stadium you're going to play in. Do you know the volume of work and time that takes? It's remarkable. That's what is awe-inspiring to me.
Yeah, and again, I don't think you're trying to make the guy out to be a hero. But I do think a lot of people are. I think there's a huge sector, and it's not just Michigan fan. Like, it's a lot of people who are like, hey, this guy, this guy, came in and worked his ass off, and they, sold them on the idea, and he got in there, and he should be regarded as like the savior of the Michigan football program because Jim wasn't doing anything, and Connor's the real hero here. And my God, I wish I could agree with that. Honestly, I do, but you did it illegally. That's my problem.
Ferris Khan, is Ohio State, I think you mean Ohio State, colluding with two other teams, not only sharing signs with each other, but their tendencies is totally kosher? What did Michigan do then? What did Connor Stallions admit that he did on behalf of Michigan football?
Did Ohio State ask Connor Stallions to send them signs through two of his buddies?
It's wild to me. The awkward guy. Guys. They were using Bluetooth to talk about adding an upper deck to the stadium. I believe they were.
Yeah, and how the wind affected that if they put the upper deck in.
Ferris Khan, fun fact, sign stealing's not illegal in college football.
Nobody said it was, dude.
It's when you send people to, steal signs in person at your future opponent's stadiums using video technology, cloud, publicly available ticket accounts that are in your name, publicly available Venmo accounts that are in your name, and then those people that you paid to go to the stadium give interviews and tell everybody exactly what you did.
Because what is the Connor Stallions content really telling us? The content, what it's telling us is, hey, I'm Connor Stallions. I'm a voracious guy when it comes to putting this stuff together. If I could have a couple of different angles at the stadium when they're playing someone else, that would speed this process up. That would let me and allow me to put together a more impactful and more prolific package for my coaches to go out and defeat the Ohio State defense.
And I love the argument that Michigan fan was making in the comments yesterday about how cell phone video doesn't help you. Well, I don't know if you know this, but iPhone cameras are elite. And Michigan, I'm going to assume, has the technology to manipulate that video to make it well worth it, or he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done it.
And it's so clear that this guy, mentally speaking, is so good in this area and so poor at disguising what he's doing. He was so good at putting it together that he just forgot this whole portion about receipts and Venmo accounts
And the cover up. He
ticket
forgot to
account,
cover
like,
it up.
Hey, dude, you're running this whole illegal scheme. Might want to throw the rug over it. It just completely blew that part off of it.
Mayor McCluskey, guys. If you could go back to the 70s and steal signs from any team, what team would it be?
Well, Marty, I pull out my telescope in the 70s and steal this team's signs.
Okay. Bryce Martin, a member of the show. Bryce Martin is here, by the way, for 17 months.
Nice, dude.
I'm glad I finally was able to catch the show. So are we. Jeff Johnson, this is not about sign stealing. It's about advanced scouting.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. The awkward guy. Monty, when are you getting Connor Stallions on the show? Never. I would not give him publicity. Advanced scouting is illegal. Yes, it is. But aren't teams advanced scouting for each other? No, they're not. When they share notes against common opponents? No, they're not.
But it doesn't matter if they are or they're not, dude. You're deflecting.
You are.
My guy. Like, you want to talk about stuff that just simply doesn't matter currently, mainly because the rule is not talking about if they collude. The rule is only talking about if you went ahead and advanced scouted.
Yeah.
Like,
Mayor McCluskey, also totally off topic, but did you Caruso's ass get handed to him on defense last night? When you're an elite one-on-one defender, you're going to get burnt in the NBA. That's just the way it is, right? Damian Fowler, Smash or Ferris, just admit that you're biased, homer, unobjective Michigan fan who will only ever see things from one way.
agreed.
Delaric has been a member of the show for 19 months.
Let's go, baby.
Go, bud. Let's go. Did someone say Jimmer Verdette? I believe they did.
Yeah.
I believe they did.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Jimmer Verdette.
what was said.
Yeah.
Last weekend at the official golf resort of the Monty Show, Canyons Golf. This is the last week of the summer season up at Canyons. Not that it, I guess, really matters because, my goodness, the weather forecast is going to be amazing this weekend. The highs for this weekend are 84 Friday, 83 Saturday, 82 Sunday. It is going to be remarkably beautiful for the final weekend at Canyons Golf at Park City Mountain Resort. Canyons Village is where you find Canyons Golf. Just Google search Canyons Golf Park City. Book your tee time online and then go get concierge level service. A great cart with GPS that's really accurate. Lush, receptive greens that are challenging because they're undulated. Beautiful green fairways. Vistas with fall colors. Moose, deer, fox, they're all running around. The deers. It's a beautiful place to play golf. You've got one more weekend to do it this weekend. Google search Canyons Golf. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. Canyons Golf, the official golf resort of the Monty Show. I can't believe the season's over at Canyons already. It has been an amazing year up there. Congratulations to Darren Ingram and all the guys up at Canyons Golf. They've had a great season, and it's never been better at Canyons Golf. It just is. What a great year. So congratulations to all those guys. Can't wait for next year, but you've got one weekend left to get up there. Google search Canyons Golf, Park City, and book your tee times online. Couple more comments, and we got to roll. Mike Smith, Monty got kicked out of Canyons Golf. He got caught washing his balls on the 18th.
Yeah,
I tried to do it behind a bush. Didn't really happen.
Yeah.
It just, we were talking about this in our pre-show meeting today. Is life just flying by?
Yes.
Can you guys believe that it's the 10th of October?
I think that we as people, as we grow up, are forced to make this like hard decision in life. And this isn't just to us. I think that a lot of people deal with this of like, hey, how much tenacity do I want to throw at this, like your career or like, whatever you're doing versus how much time am I willing to give myself to enjoy the time that's going by, And like
100%.
and I think that that quotient and that equation changes as every single day goes by. And it's this thing where I used to really be someone who felt like, hey man, like you gotta be grinding, you gotta be making as much money as you can, and like you really gotta be pushing the pace and like doing that. And that's cool. I'm great with that. But at the same time, we can't be that way and then 10 years down the line be like, well, I regret that I did that. Like there's gotta be, that's a decision we all face.
And I talk about it all the time when, especially if you have kids, you blink and it's like, oh, what do you mean you're applying to college? What? No, you mean you're in 8th or you're in 5th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade college, you mean.
It's wild. Life is just flying by.
Yeah.
Live every day like it's your last, my friends. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. The Monty Show, as always, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Clear, risk-free advice. You deserve an advocate. Chat with an injury attorney live online for free at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.